2 wins in 2 for the Cherries in their Premier League Cup campaign so far. Can they make it 3 wins in 3 today and really give themselves a huge chance of progressing through to the knockout stages? It's here at Vitality Stadium in front of 2,500 supporters here to see if Bournemouth can get the job done and build on those wins, firstly against Brighton in the first tie and then against Derby County. But here it is at Vitality Stadium and it's Bournemouth at home to Brighton Hove Albion. A very good afternoon for this 1 o'clock kickoff. I'm Ian Wilding. Joining me is Neil Perrott from the Bournemouth media team. Alan Connell will be joining us later on as well. We'll tell you why in a second. Great to have him there. And also fantastic to have you here this afternoon, Neil. Should be a cracking game, this one today, hopefully, because we've had some great drama, particularly in the last game against Derby County.
Most definitely. Derby took the lead, if you remember, and Bournemouth stormed back with 2 late goals to preserve their 100% record, which started off in August, would you believe, with a 3-0 win at Brighton. We're going to see those goals very, very soon. Brighton will be very fired up for this. They're just behind the Cherries in the league table at the moment. And we're coming to the halfway stage of this competition. 6 group games, as you said, and then it goes into a knockout stage. We've been into the knockout stages on 3 occasions before, so fingers crossed we can get there again.
Yeah, we'll see the goals in more detail in a second of that goal against Derby, the winning goal and the equaliser. 2 good goals, fantastic solo goal from Stevens and then one from outside the penalty area from Ben Greenwood with a left-footed strike. But let's have a look at the goals from the first game that Bournemouth played in the Premier League Cup this season against Brighton Hove Albion, away from home. And it was summer recruit Josh Papula who drew first blood when he latched onto Owen Bevan's header from a corner, Neil. That was a good team goal for that first goal. Excellent goal.
We've just seen that goal. We're coming up. This is the second goal, which is another very patient, good team goal. Build up. Matt Burgess closes them down there, wins possession. Christian Sadie very unselfishly squares for Daniel Ajuajay on his Premier League Cup debut to make it 2-0. And another fine team goal. All these goals came in the space of 8 second-half minutes, and basically that sort of blew Brighton away.
Yeah, they really went to town on them, didn't they, in those 8 minutes. Here's the third one then. Sadie completing the scoring, firing home Papula's cross in the end. It was good pressing from the Cherries to win the ball back in the first place.
Yeah, very good pressing. And look, here they are, keeping possession nicely, very, very patient, playing it along the back. We're going to see Owen Bevan eventually play a lovely pass out to the wing to Josh Papula. And then his outstanding cross is swept home.
And no mean feat, is it, to pick up a result like this when you look at Brighton Hove Albion and the position they're in the table as well in the Premier League too.
Yeah, I mean, they're a very, very strong academy set up. They're playing Monaco in a Champions competition on Wednesday. They've got a very important under-18s game on Monday. So we're very intrigued to see how they're going to play today and which players are going to play from 18s, 23s. It's a fantastic setup they've got there, one of the best academies in the country. One of my colleagues was lucky to go there in August and he said it was just blew him away, the facilities that they had there, which hopefully we're going to have very, very soon. They're coming along very nicely. Yeah, that would be fantastic, wouldn't it, the investment there for AFC Bournemouth, and it just feels like it will just move the club on another level. Yeah, I mean, Canford Park Arena is a very, very good facility that we've had, and we've been very fortunate to have that. Moving across the road to where the golf courses used to be, the facility is really, really taking shape now. AstroTurf pitches, 3G pitches, and the facilities are going to be excellent, and hopefully we'll be in there very, very shortly. Looking at Brighton Hove Albion's previous games, Neil, they scored an injury time winner after being 3-0 down against QPR. First of all, we talk about drama at Vitality Stadium against Derby, but that is what you call dramatic circumstances. Yes, it was a couple of weeks ago. They played on a Friday and a Monday, and on the Friday night they played away at QPR. They were 3-0 down. And they scored, I think it was in the 97th minute to make it 4-3. On the Monday night, the boot was on the other foot somewhat. They were winning 1-0 into injury time, and Derby equalised in injury time. So they picked up some points on the Friday and lost a couple on the Monday. But they're breathing down our necks in second place. This is why it's going to be such a good game today. Yeah, they are. Looking at that table at the moment, Bournemouth at top, played 6 points. Then you've got Brighton just behind them, played 4 points. But the difference between Bournemouth and Derby in third, you're talking 4 points at the moment. So it's a big gap. So if Bournemouth can win today, they will be, you'd say, on the brink of moving into those knockout stages. Yeah, it's a little bit like England in the World Cup last night. If England had won that game, they're in the last 16. And as you said, if we can win today, we steal a march, and we'll have 1 foot in the last 16. Certainly will. Well, let's have a look back at the last time Bournemouth
development side were in action here at Vitality Stadium in the Premier League Cup. It was at home to Derby County, and let's have a look at those goals now. Swung in from Haig, and the volley into the back of the net. Well, it's Solomon with the final touch for the away side, and it was the first chance, first goal taken inside the first 7 minutes. 1-0 to Derby County.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fantastic free kick, wasn't it? It went right across the defence there, and Solomon's stolen in at the far post there, giving Will Dennis absolutely no chance, rolled that right into the bottom corner past him.
Then Haig goes deep. We've seen him make a couple of surging runs, but this time he gives it away, and there Stevens comes forward to midfield position. Johnson to his right. Can he find him? He might go it alone! Oh, what a goal! Wow, wow, wow! Jack Stevens from the halfway line. He just kept going and going and going. Superb finish. Cherries back on level terms with 14 minutes to play. Bournemouth 1, Derby County 1. Bournemouth looking to surge forward here with Burgess. Johnson in front of him, he might go it alone as well. Greenwood might shoot, he does shoot, and he scores! The comeback for Bournemouth is possibly complete. From 1-0 down, it's 2-1. We know he can hit them. And my goodness me, can he hit them? Bournemouth go 2-1 up here in the Premier League Cup with 4 minutes left to play.
Well, you can see what that means. The crowd, the crowd have been superb all night. And Ben Greenwood just given them exactly what they wanted. The fans behind the goal, they're going mad there.
So welcome back to Vitality Stadium then. So there's a cracking game that was against Derby County. Those 2 goals, particularly that late strike as well, right at the end there, Neil. And looking back at that game, Derby County, they came into that game on poor form, but that doesn't tell you everything you need to know, because they're a Category 1 academy, and they've played some terrific sides there as well, leading into that game.
This is what's the beauty of this competition. It brings us our Category 3 academy playing against Cat 2, Cat 1, and the players really have to step up to those games, because that's why they are Category 1 and Category 2. Brighton, like I said earlier, one of the best academies in the country. So it's great to be pitting our wits against these teams, particularly as that's where we want to go. The next step for us, Category 2. And great game that night, like you said.
Yeah.
Went behind, and for all the world it looked like a point might be the best we could get, but once we got that equaliser, it galvanised us, and the fantastic goals from Jack Stevens and Ben Greenwood.
And it felt like that experience, didn't it, having Hill there. I know he's more of a younger player, but with his Football League experience, mentioned Jack Stevens there at the back, it really felt like it helped the younger players move on to another level that night as well. Yes,
and that's again the beauty of this competition. Those players are now on an international break, so it gives some of the under-18s a chance to step up to the plate, and there's a few under-18s in the starting lineup today, so it's going to be great to see how they get on at this level.
It will. You say international break there, 2,500 supporters here today, really whets the appetite, because you've got the World Cup of course, but people really do miss watching the Cherries, don't they, when they're not playing for 6 weeks as well?
Yeah, and the beauty of these there's going to be 2,500 people here on a Saturday afternoon just before Christmas as well. There's no first team games, but as I said earlier, this is probably as busy a period as we have at the club in the next 6 weeks. We've got Premier League Cup games, there's an FA Youth Cup third round against Liverpool to fit in December sometime. There's another couple of Premier League Cups. The game on QPR on Monday night was postponed, so that's got to be another date for that. So there's a lot going on.
There certainly is. Well, let's hear now from Sean Cooper, the Cherries coach, about the excitement going into this game.
Well, we hope so, because I do always think it brings the best out in our players. Again, not necessarily, it wasn't the smoothest performance, it wasn't the most slick footballing performance we've ever had, but our players always feed off their energy, and I just think as long as we're still running around, working honestly, working hard, they'll always cheer. And when we got our first goal and they started making noise, the lads just kicked on and went from strength to strength.
And welcome back to Vitality Stadium. We're just over 5 minutes away from kick-off between Bournemouth and Derby, and Brighton Hove Albion, I should say, after that win against Derby back in September for the Cherries. And anticipation is building here. Sean Cooper there talking about getting fans back into the ground after that win against Derby County. But players, by all accounts, with these streams that we're able to provide, Neil, a couple, I understand, have been scouted as a result of watching our streams as well.
Yes, it's remarkable. Obviously, club officials, managers of some of the non-league clubs in our area and outside of our area are watching the streams, and I know that certainly a couple of players last season had loan moves on the back of watching players on the stream. So that's a brilliant. This is why not why we do them, but another reason that we can do them.
Does this mean we're going to get scouted as well, do you think, after this one? Somebody going to be eyeing us up, do you think?
Well, you might. I think I'm a bit past it for that here.
Well, watch this space. If the phone doesn't ring a couple of hours after, I know that nobody's interested. But we're going to talk now about the fact that there's been some bizarre injuries suffered by, well, a couple of Bournemouth players, Ferdy Oko and Michael da Costa Gonzalez. Tell us a little bit about that, Neil, first of all.
So, the first one, I did an interview with Ferdy Oko recently, just about how he was getting on, and he explained to me that he loves green tea. Now, that's all well and good, unless you spill it, boiling hot green tea on your thigh, and it scalded his thigh quite badly, and he was out for maybe a couple of weeks, so he couldn't play for a couple of weeks. So that was quite a bizarre injury. I think we can hear from Ferdy talking about that.
Yeah, let's hear from him talking about that now. It's a very strange situation there.
Well, it's kind of a silly injury, you know, like I spilled like hot tea on me and just burnt my whole groin. Like, kind of struggled to recover from it, but like today's a big game and I really wanted to play, and I said I'm just going to push through it. I thought I'd done well today.
So that's Ferdy talking about his scalding hot green tea injury. And when I was doing that article, I did a little bit of research and I found out some very, very interesting, bizarre injuries. There was the Queen of the South goalkeeper, Sam Henderson, who got hit by a runaway cow. Marco Asensio missed a Champions League game for Real Madrid after shaving an infected pimple. And Dave Besant, the ex-Chelsea goalkeeper, but he severed tendons after dropping salad cream on his foot, a jar of salad cream on his foot.
Well, you couldn't make it up, could you really? I remember Robbie Keane as well. He went down to bend down and picked up the remote control once in his Wolves days. He picked up an ankle injury. He's out for 6 weeks. And then Steve Morrow's just sprung to my mind as well. Remember when he was dropped by Tony Adams after they won the League Cup? And broke his arm, I think, at the time, didn't he? It was terrible. But what a way that was to end his League Cup final afternoon. Terrible, wasn't it, really?
So, Ferdy isn't the only player, as you explained earlier. Michael da Costa Gonzalez, when he was younger, he injured his right foot in a moped accident when he was out with his dad. And as a result of that, he now favours kicking with his left foot. He's a really, really interesting guy. Managed to sit down with him this week and had a chat. Qualifies for 4 different countries, believe it or not. Now, he's the top scorer in the youth team, made his Premier League Cup debut against Derby, impressed very, very much playing up front, mainly on his own. And we've spoken to Sean Cooper about his performance that day.
Let's hear from him now.
Yeah, he's a great lad, Michael, and he's got a real potential. He's got really good technical ability, and I think Al's gone on record before to saying about some of his habits and his application without the ball. And I've got to say tonight, I thought he was fantastic in that area. He was up top on his own at times. Felt like chasing shadows in the first half, and then we moved him wide and he just didn't fade. I was really impressed with his fitness level, so really pleased with his overall contribution.
There we go. And there's talking about bizarre injuries there, and also about the influence of da Costa Gonzalez there. Sean Cooper speaking to us. Alan Connell is up with us now in the gantry, and he'll be joining us, putting his headphones on any second. But we've got to give this man some credit, haven't we, Neil? Because he's just been doing some coaching over the road a minute ago, and now he's multitasking, coming here and joining us.
Just shows what a true model professional Alan's always been. He was taking an under-16, under-17 game at Canford Park Arena. He said, I'll get there as soon as I can. And he just tapped me on the shoulder and he's here. So a sigh of relief all round for everybody.
Certainly is. And the players are out onto the pitch now as well. Slightly later than planned. It's going to be just after 1 o'clock kick-off, this one. But they are out onto the pitch now. And let's have a look through those sides for the Cherries, who they go for a 4 at the back. Last time they played 3 at the back, so it's more of a 4-3-3 formation today. We'll go through the formations more when we get this match underway. But there's some good players there, Neil, today, and it looks interesting with that front 3, particularly there with Sadie Stuttle and da Costa Gonzalez potentially as a front 3 there as well, or Bhutan, I should say. Bhutan is one of the front 3 with maybe sadly just behind.
Yeah, I mean, I think Johnny Stuttle will play as an out-and-out striker. Remarkable, really, that he's only 16. He's a first-year scholar in the under-18s, and then he's got Michael da Costa Gonzalez on one side, and probably Noah Bhutan will be on the other side. Maybe Sadi will be just behind.
Well, you're watching this Premier League Cup production here, and we'll go through the Brighton side now as well. There's a couple of changes from their last game. One to watch for them is Miller up front, Popion out wide for them. Sungai is a good defender as well. He's had some first team experience for the Seagulls. And Brighton Hove Albion, who've had some decent fixtures, and Neil said they've got a couple of European fixtures coming up as well, and you would think that they would probably be favourites going into this one, Neil, as well, wouldn't you, considering the players they've got and the level they're at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, it remains to be seen the strength of their team. We're told it may be similar to the one that they fielded in August. You would imagine that the European competitions will perhaps be more of a priority for them, whereas this is definitely our priority, the Premier League Cup for our club.
Yeah, it's a big game, and we are about a couple of minutes away from kick-off now as well, and the Cherries hopefully can put in a decent performance out there this afternoon. It's 1 o'clock kick-off, and we'll be bringing you this live stream right here as well, and looking forward to this one. We'll be bringing in Alan Connell any second. The supporters in good number, some behind the goal, some opposite from where we are sat here. And already when turning up a couple of hours before kick-off, you could really see the anticipation build. There was a real excitement in the air, and it is the Cherries to get us underway. So Bournemouth are going to get us underway now with Stuttle. And the Cherries have had a mixed bag of results recently. It was looking to bounce back from that defeat recently against Eastleigh. Did pick up a good friendly win against Wycombe Wanderers as well last month. And we are underway, and Ferdy Oko goes out towards that right-hand side. Delighted to say joining us now is Alan Connell, the under-18s coach, summariser, been in that role now since 2017. Great to have you there. We were just saying you've just come straight from over the road there to do some coaching. That's some commitment, going from that to doing some summarising straight afterwards.
It's par for the course. It's just another normal day, really. When an internal sort of 16s, 17s game for players that needed minutes, some trialists as well. So we needed to watch that, and obviously wait to get across and watch this game.
There we are, and you must be looking forward to this one as well, seeing what they can do here this afternoon.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm sure Neil's already said how young our team is, with I think 5 of our under-18s starting, plus boys that have come through our academy. I think Josh Papulo, Chris Francis and Dom Sadie are the ones that came in a little bit later. But yeah, really excited by the game, and I'm sure it's going to be a good spectacle for the good number of crowd that's in it. So
an early chance then, potentially, in towards the near post. Get away from Greenwood. Shot comes in from Hinshelwood. And Brighton have it to put the cross in here. Played back from Barrington. And then a back heel from Spong finds him again. Barrington right-footed cross. And then the volley is over the crossbar in the end from Sungai. And sails over the crossbar. And that'll play for a goal kick. On this AFC Bournemouth stream, sponsored by ESET, free on AFCB TV, YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
That would look like a really good chance there, Al, didn't it?
It did, yeah. No, it was just Noah Bhutan was 2v1 against at the back post, and I think he got pinned by the guy on the inside, and it fell to the guy at the back post who probably should have done better. And Brighton will be pleased that they've pushed us in early, but hopefully we can get out of here from our goal kick.
So Brighton on the ball. So chip forward there from Hinshelwood. And Bournemouth going to win it back with Ferdy Oko, who plays it back towards Francis. And Francis out towards Papulo on that right-hand side. We put in that good cross as well against Brighton in the first tie between these two sides as well. And he's a real threat going forward and fantastic at the back as well.
He's got a very interesting story as well. He was released by Watford, and he started working in the hospitality business, places like Twickenham, and serving on tables. And with all the money that he earned, he would go and buy football gear and practice on his own and stuff like that, because he was so determined to be a footballer.
Now Bournemouth have it now from the halfway line. It's Brown towards that right-hand side. De Costa Gonzalez. Costa Gonzalez out to the right-hand side to Papula. It's blocked. I have to say, there's been some terrific knowledge from Neil already since 1:45 this afternoon. There's some real nuggets so far. Hoping more of this continues. The pressure's on now, Neil. You've peaked.
I don't know if Alan knows, but when Michael was younger, he damaged his right foot in a moped accident, which is why he prefers to kick with his left foot. You're nodding. You obviously did know that.
Yeah, it's bizarre. I mean, like I said before, he's an interesting character, Michael, and yeah, his left foot is a real weapon. He's done a lot of work, to be fair, the last couple of years on his right foot. Probably trying to remember what it was like to kick with it when he was a little kid, and he scored some goals and set up some goals this year with his right foot, which is has been nice to see, and nice to see him add more to his game, which is something we know what he can do, but we think there's more in there that we've tried to get out, and to be fair to him, he is producing, albeit he's still got a long way to go. Yeah,
it's funny, I interviewed him in the week and I said to him, you must have been really disappointed that the game against Queen's Park Rangers on Monday night was postponed. You'd have been looking forward to playing in that. He said, yeah, but we had some really nice food in the hotel before the game.
It's a win-win. Yeah, I can't completely, I suppose it's there's pros and cons, isn't there, to that as Brighton go long out towards this right-hand side. Casper Nielsen has got options in the middle. Todd Miller is there as an option. Not going to keep it in play though in the end. The flag's up on this near side anyway, so it's a free kick.
I can't quite work that one out. Surely the offside is right up here. Why? I don't get that.
Yeah, moving it halfway inside their own half at one point, weren't they?
Is it when the guy touches it, the Brighton player? I don't know. I mean,
could be.
I'm definitely confused by that side of it. Interesting, the different formations, Neil. Like obviously, looks very much like we're in a 4-3-3. Brighton looking more aggressive in like a 3-4-3, I would say. That's what it looks like early on, anyway. So, be interesting who can get hold of the ball early and.
Had it on, no chance already for try and get in there from Perpion, but he's not going to. And now it's Kinsey Wellings for the Cherries out towards that right-hand side. The early stages of this game, so it looks like playing in goal then. Papula, Kinsey Wellings, Francis and Greenwood at the back. Oko, Brown and Sadie in the middle, with DeCosta Gonzalez and Bouton playing just off Stuttle up front for the Cherries. So that's how Bournemouth look. It's live streamed this afternoon at Vitality Stadium.
Just ask you about Johnny Stuttle. I know it's all very well having second years playing, but he's actually a first year. He's still only 16. It's some experience for him.
Yeah, Johnny's he's a great character. Quiet, down to earth. Takes a lot of things in his stride. He's from Portland, and he loves his fishing and all that. He's quite a laid-back character. But for a first-year scholar to be starting this game is a great experience for him. And he's had more game time probably because of Daniel Adebayo's injury, who's obviously on the bench today, which is pleasing to have him back. But he's a goal scorer, Johnny. We're getting him more involved in the build-up play because he's a good size and a good frame. But if the ball lands in the box, he's normally right place, right time type of player.
Well, as well as Adebayo on the bench, you've got Johnson, Williams, Terrell and a trialist as well, makes up the fifth substitute. Always has a good game, doesn't he, a trialist?
Gets around a bit, doesn't he?
He does.
We've all been there.
Especially in the summer, he comes into his own, doesn't he, really? As Brown goes back for Bournemouth then. So it's Brighton then who've made it mainly in the Cherries half so far, as Francis goes to the left to Greenwood. Greenwood, who scored that goal against Derby County back in September with a fantastic strike on the edge of the penalty area. Back from Kinsey Wellings, and then it's back towards Cameron Plain in goal. And a good opportunity for him today as well, isn't it, in front of this support in goal.
Well, he's number 2 now. Neto injured.
Yeah.
Mark Travers first choice now. Cam's been promoted to the number 2 spot, so he's been on the bench for Premier League games since Neto got injured. Going to be great experience for him as well, and it's great to see him playing again today.
Yeah, he's had a good few months, hasn't he? As Brighton Hove Albion have it down that right-hand side, plays it forward towards Nielsen. Ball down from Perpion. Perpion finds Nielsen. Nielsen's got Miller as an option. Perpion into the penalty area, and it just goes away from Miller and Barrington. But they're going to try again here with Samuels. as you'd expect from Brighton Hove Albion. They're trying to ask the questions early, aren't they? Trying to take the game to Bournemouth, but they have possession on the halfway line at the moment with Songai, who had that chance early on.
Just seeing the ground staff walking past in front of us. I think they're bringing some hot dogs for us and some pasties. I think, oh, hang on, they're walking past us.
They've got all sorts there, haven't they? There's surely room for us.
Well, they've been busy because there's lots of games going on in the international break as well. I know the Premier League aren't playing, but as I said earlier, Premier League Cup, the charity game last week, the FA Youth Cup third round against Liverpool, which Alan will be taking here sometime in December. Any news on a date for that yet, Al?
Let's just say it's proving very difficult. So no is the answer. Hopefully we'll have an answer early next week. So yeah, sometimes it can be difficult, especially a club the size of Liverpool with their commitments. So there's going to be some give and take somewhere. But yeah, we'll wait and see next few days when that may or may not be.
Just give us some reaction to that draw as well. Liverpool, I know we've played Spurs, we played Man City in the past, and now it's Liverpool.
A great draw. It really is. I mean, here as well, when our boys are so excited to play, that's another reason I'm so pleased today that 5 of the boys are starting, and we've got another 3 on the bench. Again, more exposure, which is pleasing. And yeah, Liverpool, whenever that game is going to be a great occasion. But it's one that we'll obviously prepare for, and one that we'll be ready for. And as much as it won't be a great experience for the players, I want the players to make sure they give their all, but also give the best account of themselves. And obviously what's going to be a very difficult time where we'll be obviously massive underdogs.
Yeah, so keep an eye on the AFC Bournemouth channels. Early next week we'll have a date for that, and we will be staging that game here at Vitality Stadium sometime in December.
I certainly want to look forward to that one, as Brighton have it now on the halfway line with Songai. They've had the vast majority of position, haven't they, so far, as a Fire plays it back towards Beadle. It goes towards his right hand side, and Beadle plays it back.
I walked
No
past
relation to Jeremy, I don't think. Sorry, no.
I walked past him when they were warming up, and he's absolutely enormous. His head almost touches the crossbar. There's not a lot of room there, so we're going to have to do well to get past him.
Better watch out for him.
Yeah, see what you did there. Brighton playing out towards the left-hand side. Here is Spong. Spong plays it forward now, and Bournemouth just going to let the ball go out of play and out for a throw.
Now Sean Cooper would normally be in the technical area. He's obviously been helping Gary O'Neill on an interim basis. So we've got Bruce Sirachi there. Just tell us a little bit about Bruce for people who don't know him.
Bruce has been here for 8 years, I want to say. Originally came in as head of foundation, then moved into the youth development phase, which is 13s to 16s, before around 4 or 5 years ago became the head of academy coaching. So like he basically mentors the coaches, gives feedback, and makes sure that we're aligned in everything that we do, and the philosophy is very much stuck to. And he's been a great help for all us coaches. Originally, before he came here, he was coaching, I think, more in like a university capacity. So he's a highly qualified coach and a deep thinker, and he's a massive asset for our academy and our club. And yeah, he's been asked to obviously step in temporarily, and he's done a fine job.
And he's being helped by Brett Pittman, who is not here today. I understand he's playing for AFC Porchester at Brockenhurst. Yeah,
Brett's been helping as well. Obviously, Brett came in at the start of the season and almost a bit of like an academy forward coach, and then obviously with Tommy and Coops going up on the interim basis, then with all the age group coaches already having their own groups, Brett's been sort of helping Bruce and to steady the ship, whilst obviously the club moves forward and makes the necessary appointments.
And Michael Da Costa Gonzalez in his interview this week said how helpful Brett has been with him, obviously both forwards, and he's been really helping him along.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows Brett's, especially his finishing capabilities. So, yeah, any tips he can give the strikers is obviously going to be beneficial to them.
Yeah, he said he was in awe of him, didn't he, as well, on the website this week, when he turned up and saw Brett Pittman for the first time, being from Portsmouth and going to school at Purbrook.
Yeah, he said he's also asked Brett for a Portsmouth shirt to give to his old headmaster at Purbrook Park School, but Brett hasn't delivered yet, but if Michael gets a goal or two today, I'm sure he'll come up trumps.
Yeah, hopefully so. Still waiting for the shirt as things stand at the moment, as Nilsson plays it back for Brighton Hove Albion. During a pretty quiet period of the game so far, isn't it, really, at the moment? Just generally being played in that middle third.
I'm just thinking if he doesn't get a Portsmouth shirt, he could maybe get an AFC Porchester shirt instead.
Exactly, there'll be one of those, definitely.
Yeah, it's been
He's a goal machine there at the moment, isn't he?
He is, he's scoring a lot of goals. It's quiet start, I just say. Brighton have had a bit more possession. It's a little bit more threatening as they obviously are here.
Yeah, they come forward now. It's a real opportunity. Perpignan plays in towards Miller. They could score. The flag's up on the near side. It's a big relief. Which is about to pull the trigger there. Defended well anyway, but the flag was up. Miller got himself into an offside position there after Perpignan's run. And it's a free kick for the Cherries.
Yeah, great block from Chris Francis in the end. And Chris is one I know in particular early in the season with Tommy and Coops. I think that's been carried on by Bruce. He's done a lot of work on his sort of defending around the box and making himself big, using his frame to make blocks that we've just seen there. So credit to Chris. He's a great young man and works very hard at his game. So to see things like that come out, on occasions like this is obviously really good to see.
30 appearances for him at North Lee in their promotion season last season as well. So he really would have benefited from men's football. As Sadie now for the Cherries goes back towards Greenwood. Greenwood plays it across towards Kinsey Wellings for Bournemouth, looking for their first real opportunity of the game. Now then, what can DaCosta Gonzalez? The referee says play on. He's got Stuttle as an option in the penalty area. He could go it alone here. Oh, and he goes for the shot. That's good effort, especially from where he was. Picked up from Beadle.
That's Michael in a nutshell. Lewis Brown giving him that running power to get past him on the outside. Michael coming on his favoured left foot and unlucky with that finish that Beadle done well to hold on to.
Beadle was about there, wasn't he? Brighton have it now.
How many times can we use that one, do you think?
I think that's about it, really. I was trying to think of a "you've been framed" pun, but I don't think there is one, really.
I was going to say, I think North Lee probably need Chris Francis back because I think they're rock bottom of their league this season.
Yeah, exactly. He was a real rock at the back, wasn't he, for them last campaign? As the Cherries have it now with Ferdioko. Ferdioko there. Joined in the summer of 2020 as well as part of the academies there at West Ham and Tottenham. Had that loan spell at Truro back in February. And now the Cherries have it now with Boutin. Plays it back forward this time up from the halfway line from Staddy. But despite making a run there, Lewis Brown goes back towards Beadle in the Brighton goal.
Yeah, I think Ferdy's actually gone back to Truro this season as well. Al, I think I'm right in saying he is actually on loan there. So what would you as a coaching staff decide whether he gets more benefit playing in a game like this or for Truro in the Southern League? How do you weigh things up?
Every case is individual, Neil. I think with Ferdy, he's found himself in and out of the team there. So, for example, Marcus Dawes is at Poole today. So generally, a lot of the decisions are around what's always around what's best for the player. Where's he going to get more game time? What's the best experience for him? So they're the sort of conversations that go on, and often as well we have obviously the player input as well. I think that's important that they take responsibility for their own careers. So yeah, that's sort of the process that normally will go into a game, especially the under-21s where a lot of lads or some of the lads are on loan.
Here's Perpignan. He's looked dangerous so far. Good tackle though from Greenwood. Did well, timed it well. Corner kick though for the away side. It's over 16 minutes gone, and Brighton Hove Albion have got a corner kick. Cherries topped the Premier League Cup group in 1920 season. They were into the last 16 when the season was halted due to the pandemic. They were due to host Wigan in the knockout stages, but in the end it didn't happen. But they've got some defending to do here. Miller is the furthest forward there for Brighton Hove Albion. Cherries have every player back. Decent corner, volleyed wide. But again, a half chance there for Brighton and Hove Albion, but not to be for them. Fortunately for the Cherries, goal kick.
Yeah, we know how much the pandemic impacted on football, and in the Hampshire Senior Cup that season, we ended up playing the Hampshire Senior Cup in 3 different years, would you believe? The same rounds of one round in 2019, one in 2020, and in the final in 2021 when Mark Travers scored that injury time equaliser and we won on penalties at Eastleigh.
Yeah, what a moment that was. The Cherries have a throw. on this left-hand side. Brighton are 8th in the Premier League Division 1, or the Premier League 2 Division 1. Won 4 of those matches so far, as it's aimed up towards this left-hand side. And it's good play to the edge of the penalty area from Bhutan, but first touch was good. His second touch just took him away from the ball, and it's played back from Brighton Hove Albion. Played it back from a fire, and now they're going forward the away side up towards the halfway line. Back out to the left towards Samuels. Miller makes the run. Spong, and Spong goes out towards a fire. Fire to Nilsson. Bhutan tries to win the challenge, but Nilsson goes across. One back though. And Da Costa Gonzalez could be away here. Striding forward for the Cherries. Stuttle to his left. He might have a go again on his own. Go square, and the shot's blocked there in the end from Bhutan. Unfortunately, he's going to have another try. Bhutan plays it back to Greenwood. Bhutan is going to good challenge in the end. And Miller towards the right hand side, but the 2 Cherries chances has all come from Da Costa Gonzalez on that right hand side. In the meantime, here are the away side on the breakaway. Perpion tries to place it. Deflection, corner kick.
Now, you spoke earlier about Michael Da Costa Gonzalez. This week when I was interviewing him, I asked him to let us know what type of player he was, and he couldn't really explain how he felt, but what we've just seen there is him all over.
Yeah, like a lot of modern day wingers, prefers playing from the right with that left foot, coming inside on his stronger foot, and he carries the ball well, which I always think is a massive part of any team, to have a winger that can carry the ball and get you up the pitch. And I say his end product's getting better and better, and he showed there, even the simple pass to Noah at the end, how effective he can be.
Hinshelwood with a strike, straight to Camplain in the Bournemouth goal, and it's the 9th edition of this competition as well. It mirrors the Champions League format, this one. It's a nice simple format really, isn't it? Last 32, try and get through to the last 16, and Bournemouth, if they win today, would be on the brink of qualifying for the last 16. 2 wins in 2 so far. Brighton have it now though, and they have it with Barrington, and then Samuels across, and they're forced slightly back here, and here's Spong for Brighton. A fire. Nilsson. Perpion, one touch football. Hinshelwood was in there. Oko. Spong goes square. Here he is again. Not the touch he wanted. Can Bournemouth take advantage here? Is Dominic Sadie. Bhutan makes the run. Tackle comes in though from a fire. So we need to go halfway through the first half.
I know it's probably stating the obvious now, but Brighton are keeping hold of the ball very well, and when we get it, we need to start doing that as well.
Yeah, the game's kind of fell into a pattern, I would say, with that Brighton wing back really high and wide, and it's given Noah Bhutan problems. Our left winger, he's having to come back with the wing back, and it's just pinning us back in. Obviously, we want to be in possession as much as we can, but maybe with the personnel we've got and Brighton's quality, the counter attack may well be what suits us best today. But like you say, if we can get hold of the ball and try and imprint our game on them, hopefully it will mean we can, like I say, get further up the pitch and pin Brighton back, as we are getting pinned back a little bit at the moment.
Perpion went for the back heel. They've got another corner kick. Brighton, their 3rd of the game so far. 4 points from 3 games for them. A win, a draw and a defeat in the Premier League Cup for Brighton Hove Albion.
Yeah, we spoke earlier, they had a couple of eventful games recently. They scored an injury time winner to win 4-3, and then 3 days later they conceded one to draw at Derby.
Just into the back post. Set it high from Sungai. And it's aimed up towards Turns, and the Cherries clear. We'll try and find a Bournemouth player, but they can't that time. Brighton still in possession with Spong. Barrington. Perpignan makes the run. Miller's there as an option. Good cross. Oh, good header and a fantastic save from Plain. Hinshelwood's header did terrifically well to dive down and tip it behind for a corner kick.
Great save from Cam. Good play from Brighton again. Set back for almost that Kevin De Bruyne type cross when it whipped in, and as you say, a really good header from Hinshelwood that he would probably expect to score, but Cam's had to make a great save, and looks like Cam looks confident that he's taken that first team involvement into his game, which is great.
Another corner, volleyed away. Now Brighton in possession with Barrington, and the header again for the second time in about 30 seconds. Hinshelwood, goal kick.
Yeah, I think we have to find a way to, like I said a minute or two ago, just to get out, because Brighton have been pressing high, and we've struggled to put them passes together to get us up the pitch. So an interesting 5 minutes coming up to see how the boys handle this.
It's the voice of Alan Connell, the under-18s coach for the Cherries. Neil Perrott from the Bournemouth media team with us this afternoon. This 1 o'clock kickoff in the Premier League Cup is an AFC Bournemouth stream sponsored by eSets, which is free on AFCB TV, YouTube, Facebook and Twitter. And we're pleased to bring it to you for the second time as well, having been here at the Vitality Stadium back in September as well against Derby County. Brighton go out towards the right-hand side to Nilsson, and it's a bit of a misplaced pass that time from Spong, flow for the Cherries.
Al, you talk about Cam playing, working with the first team now. He's obviously gone up, one because of Neto's injury. So you have some of your lads train with the first team as well. I mean, that must be some experience for them.
Yeah, it's a big jump from obviously under-18 football to playing with Premier League players. Yeah, it depends. I mean, all the managers have done it, probably more so in the last couple of years with Jonathan Woodgate and Scott Parker and Gary O'Neill in particular have really utilised the younger lads and got them involved.
Kinsey Welling's ball over the top there. Going to get in there, not quite. It's a good run there from Papula, who made the run. Advanced up the field pretty quickly and was there, but good defending from Brighton.
Yes, it was very good defending. I think the lads taken a blow there from Johnny Stuttle afterwards. Josh Papula just got out-muscled there. It was a good ball from Max Kinsey Wellings, and unfortunate not to getting in there.
So there might be a bit of stoppage here. And Bournemouth, who would have hoping to play on Monday against QPR. That match was called off due to a waterlogged pitch in the end, but this is match 3 of 6. Everybody plays each other twice, and 25 minutes in. It feels like Bournemouth have kind of grown into the game slightly.
Yeah, definitely.
As the match has worn on.
Yeah, we got as far as Winchester on Monday to go and cover that game, and the team were already there, so got to go back. I think it's in December.
So it's a throw and back onto his feet now. So 20 minutes of normal time remains here in the first half. And again, they're certainly looking good in that final third at the moment, Bournemouth. Costa Gonzalez has looked really impressive on that right-hand side so far, being a big part of their 2 main chances so far, Bournemouth. The first team not playing again now in the Premier League for another 4 weeks. Gives everybody a real appetite to come and watch the Cherries in a different form. Here in the Premier League Cup with 2,500 here. For this live stream.
Just while there's a little lull here, Al, just come back to you about training, those lads training with the first team and the experience for them.
Yeah, it's been great. Mainly this sort of the development squad under 21s, especially on the day before a game, they're utilised to sort of.
So I'll come back to that in a second. So here come the Cherries again with Bhutan. Greenwood with the cross. Van Stuttle volleyed away. And then Chris Francis goes back. As they come forward, it's a bit of a risky pass there from Oko, but they get away with it in the end. Kinsey Wellings goes long towards Stuttle, still on the chase, high up into the air from Sungi. And now Perpion just gives the ball away, and the Cherries can regroup.
We'll get there in the end, Al, don't worry.
I feel the pressure's on to make it a good story now, Neil.
got to be a cracker, this one now.
It's going to be an anticlimax, I think. But yeah, like I said, Friday 21s and sometimes the 18s will fill in for the opposition who the first team are going to play against the next day, and it's good because you get to sort of see the level of detail and the players do what goes into a first team game, especially at Premier League level. So that experience has helped. It gets to the boys in and around the players and the first team staff, and even like in midweek when the first team won a proper hard day, if the 21s have say got a midweek game, we've had 11v11s against the first team before, and things like that, or players or 2 or 3 will go and train if some of the 21s aren't available, if they've got a 21s game. So all in all, it's been a really beneficial, obviously, experience, and that's where our young players obviously aspiring to get to.
Even Monday night, going to Queen's Park Rangers and having the game called off, that is an experience. I know I've been with you to pitches, watching the under-18s. It was in Chippenham, it was just a field, there was no dugouts, and there they are playing on places like this, and going to games and being postponed. It happens.
Yeah, I remember, Neil, I'm sure you do. I remember playing for our first team it was Christmas Day night. We travelled to Colchester, and Boxing Day morning it got called off. We stayed overnight Christmas Day night, so that's always one that sticks in the mind.
Greenwood to Brown, here's Da Costa Gonzalez. Can he find a shot again? Not that time. He's going to do the sensible thing, place it back to Papula. Away from Kinsey Wellings, and this one back from Todd Miller. Well, he's quick there, isn't he, Todd Miller? But good placement there from Francis, who plays it back to Plain. Down towards that right-hand side. Did you ever get used to it as a football analyst, as well, the old Christmas Day football, or the Boxing Day rather, football, and having to travel up on Christmas Day and stay up in hotels?
Yeah, I did it a couple of times. Like I said, that one sticks out because it got called off. But yeah, I did it a couple of times. Some clubs that we didn't train Christmas Day, some clubs we did. I always enjoyed the Boxing Day fixture. Always look forward to it, and generally good crowds. And yeah, personally, I liked it. I mean, some players may be different. So, and obviously that's when this year's Premier League game is going to resume in around that time, which is obviously it's a bit different this year.
Of course, many moons ago they used to play on Christmas Day. They would play the same opposition on Christmas Day as they played on Boxing Day, home and away, and read stories about how they were bringing beer barrels in and into the changing room and stuff like that. It was quite amazing what used to happen in the 30s and 40s.
I bet no one complained about fixture congestion, did they, then either? Jurgen Klopp would have a field day, wouldn't he, if he was managing back there? Yeah. Brighton and Hove Albion have possession now, and it's nearly given away. Played back from Nielsen. So 15 minutes to go then to half time. And at the moment, you'd have to say, sort of last 5-10 minutes, they have kept it a lot more in Brighton's half, AFC Bournemouth. They're pushing them back slightly. Certainly Brighton had a lot of the pressure first 15 minutes. They've had 4 corners and they've had a few good opportunities, including an effort wide of the post. The Cherries have come close twice so far, including a shot from the edge of the penalty area from Da Costa Gonzalez. If you're just tuning in, through ball here. Perpion could be in here. He's going to have a shot. Oh, and fortunately for the Cherries, can't quite find the target.
Looked about 2 yards offside there, Ian, because that's pretty almost level with where we were. Watching the linesman, expecting the flag to go up 5 or 10 minutes later, and it still hasn't. So I'm not sure. Maybe quite wasn't up with that one.
I thought Cam Plain saved it, Neil. I thought he got a good finger to that. I thought, and even the Brighton players are asking for a corner. Chris Francis and Max Kinsey-Wellings almost looked like they were going to defend the corner. So I think it was a top save from Cam. But it was a great play from Brighton to play for us.
Given away though from Chris Francis. And Brighton have it now with a fire. Their manager Shannon Ruth is their coach. He was the interim coach at first, taken over from Simon Rusk, who went to Stockport County, and now he's got that role, charge of the under-21s on a permanent basis. A good academy, got some good players have come through over the years for them, and they have possession now with Songi, who goes out to a fire.
We were saying it's one of the best academies in the country. Is that about right?
It's very impressive, Neil. Yeah, fortunate enough to play against them a few times in friendly games there. Always love going there, and they've built from within. The infrastructure is incredible. I think they've used the money wisely from the Premier League. And yeah, they're reaping the rewards now from it. Obviously, like you say, playing a European Games programme as well as this. Obviously, a Cat 1 club. And
now it's a chance here, though. And it's into the back of the net from Hinchelwood with the final touch. Well, he's already had 2 headers which went over the bar, but he was never going to miss from there. And Brighton Hove Albion have taken the lead here with 12 to half-time.
Another incisive move, you'd have to say, from Brighton, similar to the last one. Clever interchanging around our 18-yard box and played across. And Hinchelwood, he's been getting into the box time and time again with them 2 early headers, has obviously just sort of managed to scramble the ball over the line. And setback for us, obviously. Again, interested to see how we respond now.
Yeah, similar situation to the Derby game, wasn't it? Went behind against Derby. How are we gonna respond to this? And certainly responded in style that day. I mean, Cam Payne's going to be very disappointed to have conceded there. Nothing he could have done about it. The cross the shot just bounced up and sort of hit Hinchelwood and trickled over the line. So nothing Cam could have done about that one.
A blow for Bournemouth then, but as you say, nothing really could have done. It was during a time when Brighton weren't putting on as much pressure earlier on for the 10 minutes previous, but they create a chance there. And it's Hinchelwood, who had 2 chances before, as you said earlier on, in quick succession. And now he taps home to give Brighton Hove Albion the lead here.
This is what we've found, like when we play the Cat 1s, we always compete, and we've had success over the years against them. But we know, like the first team in the Premier League, you know that at any given moment they can open you up with quality, and obviously Brighton showed that there.
Here's Stuttle, though. They'll try and play it out further forward from Da Costa Gonzalez. Yeah, as you say, they responded in style against Derby. Can they do it today? And it was down the end, wasn't it, as well, in the first half when Derby County took the lead. Now Brighton have done the same on 33 minutes. Kenji Wellings forward for Bournemouth. Oko. Sadie out to Greenwood.
I think that's one of our best routes. We just technically haven't quite nailed it yet with regards to switching the ball quicker, especially where we've got 2v1 wide. And
here's a chance though for Brighton. They might score again here. They do score again, and it's Jack Spong that time with a brilliant left-footed finish. And 2 goals in quick succession. And it's a big task ahead for the Cherries now. 2-0.
Tactically, I thought the boys recognised where the space was there. Out to Ben Greenwood, drew the wing back down and out, and Noah Bouton was out down the side. We just didn't manage to quite execute the clever spot that the boys saw, and obviously we got robbed of the ball in midfield, and obviously again, like I just said, the quality of this level opposition will hurt you. Unfortunately, that's what happened there.
Very clinical, wasn't it? Indeed. Left-footed finish, bottom corner. Nothing he could have done really, was it? Cam Payne as well, lovely sort of place finish into the bottom corner. And all of a sudden they've got a couple of goals in the space of just under 3 minutes there. Now it is an uphill task now, but see what they can do for the remaining 10 minutes of the first half. Here's Perpignan. One back though from Sadie in towards Brown. Brown out towards Da Costa Gonzalez. Costa Gonzalez has got Papula making a run on the overlap. It's too far for him. Samuels back to the goalkeeper, and Beadle plays it out towards the edge of the box. Brighton in possession. Sponsored by ESET, this live stream here this afternoon.
These chances, opportunities, openings like that we've got to try and make a little bit more of them if we're going to get back into the game. We know that Michael's can be a match winner, a crowd pleaser. Put the ball in there for Josh Papula, didn't quite make it. We've got to start making more of those opportunities, because at the moment we're not getting too many, so we need to make the most of the ones we do get.
Here they come again, Hinchelwood in towards Miller. Miller for Brighton Hove Albion. Barrington. Papula tries to stop him from getting the cross in. He does for the time being. Back to Samuels. And Sungi forward towards Jack Spong, the goal scorer of Brighton Hove Albion's second goal. Brighton have gone into this in good form as well, having picked up 8 points from their last 4 matches against West Ham, Chelsea and Manchester United included in those 4 games, and Tottenham Hotspur. So it goes to show what a dangerous team they are as a fire goes back. One back from Stuttle. Can he win it back? Completely, not quite. Bhutan gives it away, and now it's Brighton will win it back here in the middle of the park as Barrington goes back.
So in them little moments there when we win the back, we've just got to be technically a little bit tidier. And again, I've obviously seen many a Bournemouth Academy game over the years, and I think when we're at our best, it's when we make good decisions on the ball and are nice and crisp with our passing. And when things can go a little bit against us is when we just start to misplace those passes. And like I keep saying, against this quality of opposition, you won't see the ball again for a while.
There is Ed Turns now, and they are trying to keep possession now, and they're going to try and stay onside. The flag does go up eventually. Took a while, I mean he was going to put it up first, but Miller was offside on the far side, and Bournemouth have got a freak.
Now, if Bruce decides to turn to his bench for some attacking options, just tell us a little bit about Daniel Ajuije. I know he scored against Brighton in August in the 3-0 win on his Premier League debut, but had an injury after that.
Yeah, in that game, we picked Daniel up when he would have still been 15 at the time, just before his 16th birthday. After he's released by Fulham, like the look of him straight away. A goal scorer, can hold the ball up, can run in behind. Still only 17 years of age. Scored a lot of goals for the under-18s last season and at the start of this season before he picked up an ankle injury in the game you just said back in August. The under-21s he scored and got an ankle injury which kept him out for 12 weeks. So we've had to get him back up to speed, and he's made 2 sub appearances for the under-18s in the last couple of weeks. So we're looking to obviously build up his minutes, and I think he'll come on, I'm sure, at some stage. Bailyn Johnson's a winger, can play right or left. Been in fine goal scoring form this season. He's really starting to add that to his game from those wide areas and scored some big goals for us as well. Torrey Williams is a player that I've known since he was 10 years old in our academies, from Southampton, and a diminutive, really agile, skillful centre midfield player, a bit Gav Kilkenny-like. So it'll be interesting if he can get on later and get us playing. Yeah. Obviously we've got Billy Terrell, our goalkeeper, and a trialist. Who I do know, but I don't know how much meant to say about trialist.
Yeah, we're going to keep that one quiet.
Yeah.
The secret squirrel.
Yeah.
Well, a yellow card there for Casper Nielsen's gone into the book for Brighton Hove Albion, and now Miller has it on that left-hand side. Wins it back, given away in that right back position. Crossed in. Oh, and he might have hit it first time, but he missed the chance in the end. It's well blocked from Greenwood from Casper Nielsen, who could have hit it first time, balled it down. That gave the Cherries chance to block it. Corner kick.
An unbelievable cross as well. Just saw the lad at the far post, totally unmarked. Like you said, Ian, if he'd have taken that first time and it was on target, I think that would have been a tough one to save for Cam.
Too much on it.
5 minutes to half time. Obviously we don't want the scoreline to get any worse, so let's hope the boys can obviously see this corner out.
So Spong to take the corner kick for the away side. It's the 5th corner of the game. We've had a fair few now. They've looked pretty comfortable since going 2 up towards the near post. Might get another chance here though on that left hand side. Here's Turns. Hinchelwood again, and the header again for a 3rd time this afternoon. The header misses the target. He has got 1 goal though, missed that time. That was a good chance for Brighton.
One thing about Hinchelwood, okay, he's average height, but we've got defenders in there who are taller than him. That's 2 free headers in the first half. It's probably too many.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, he's making them run to midfield, isn't he? And like I say, they're free headers, free headers, really. That he would want us to do better with.
So Sadie out left, Greenwood forward, just goes out of play. Bhutan too far for him. Brighton just going to take their time now to try and get into half time at 2-0 up. 2 goals in just under 3 minutes for them, one for Hinchelwood and the other neat finish from Jack Spong into the bottom corner. And here's Casper Nielsen. Ajuije on the score sheet in that 3-0 win. against Brighton earlier in the season. Papula and Sadie on the score sheet as well. It's be a late challenge there from Francis, who goes into the book. Yellow card for him now, so he's produced 2 yellow cards now. This referee is starting to produce them now for one club each. But
I thought it was a strong tackle from Chris.
Yeah.
I thought he clearly won the ball. I didn't think it was reckless. Obviously, only seen it live once, but yeah, it seemed a little harsh. But obviously, we know with modern day how referees can be quite strict, shall we say, on tackles that are strong.
Well, Boo's ring out, still on the floor at the moment. See what happens there as far as that's concerned. I imagine we might have a little bit of stoppage now then in this game. A fair bit of injury time perhaps. There was a stoppage earlier on in this game as well. Well, West Brom were champions last season. They beat Wolves in the final on penalties. It's 2-2 after extra time. And it's been spread out since it started, this Premier League Cup. A number of teams have won the competition so far. 7 altogether. As Neil was saying earlier, includes teams from categories 1, 2, 3 and 4. Alan Connell, Neil Perrott with me in the commentary box today, with just over a minute of normal time left in this AFC Bournemouth stream.
Just looking at Jack Hinchelwood, he's the 4th generation of Hinchelwoods to play for Brighton. That's something else. I think it's Martin. Adam is his father, Martin was his grandfather, and Wally, great-grandfather. That's I remember Warren Feeney, a striker we had here. He was his father and his grandfather all played for Northern Ireland, which was some special feat.
I'm pretty sure Warren Feeney's son is now, I think he's 14, 15, plays for Ireland under 14s or 15s, that sort of age. Yeah, so he could be joining that illustrious 4th generation group. But I think with Jack Hinchelwood, Adam Hinchelwood, his dad, I'm pretty sure we'd have played against him back in the day in the sort of early 2000s when us and Brighton were in League One. So yeah, that definitely rings a bell.
Am I right in thinking that his grandfather is a regular visitor to Camford as a scout, possibly? Martin Hinchelwood, I think I've seen him quite a few of your games. He must maybe...
Possibly, yeah, that sounds about right.
There's a lot of pressure on Jack Hinchelwood's son as well, if he has a son, to carry on to make it 5 generations.
We'll worry about that in about 20 years, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it's more long term, that one.
Warren Feeney's managing in the National South League now. I think is it Welling United.
Yeah, I saw him in pre-season. They were down for a couple of days, and they used our training ground at Camford, and it was good to see him. Yeah, as you know, Neil, lively character, and he's enjoying the management, and yeah, he's a character that's, I think, fondly remembered by everyone at our club.
I wouldn't fancy the hairdryer treatment from him.
At least you would understand it.
So free kick then in a dangerous position. It's Jack Spong potentially. Or it could be Barrington. It's off the bar, tipped onto the crossbar there from Plain. And then it's a good save onto the bar. It's a terrific free kick. Now it's another chance. And they're going to have the shot via deflection off Perpion's shot. And they've got another corner kick on the far side. But a good free kick tipped onto the crossbar.
Brilliant free kick. And again, Cam Plain, what a save. Going to his top right. I'm sure he got a nick on it onto the bar. And yeah, I mean, he's been a real positive for us, Cam, in his first half.
Yeah, good free kick there from Barrington, who's now going to take the corner kick. Him and Spong both standing over that for the free kick, but the corner definitely going to be from Barrington. And it's headed away from Kinsey Wellings. Now it's another chance. Flag stays down. Spong. Miller's there as a short option. Perpion gives it away. Cherry's getting 1 goal back before the end of this half, into stoppage time now. And now it's Ferdioko and Stuttle. Brighton Hove Albion is still looking good at the moment on the ball, and they have it now with a fire.
I think as much as obviously Brighton have played well, and we're looking at our own team performance, I think like I say, obviously in development football, you're ultimately looking for the individuals to shine and come through and go through difficult challenges. And there's no doubt we're having to dig deep here. And like I say, campaign's been a real plus today. And like I say, now we're having a plan against a top team, top players. How do we respond? How do those individuals handle this situation? And who are the ones that can show that they can handle difficult situations?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens there in the second half. Brought to you here live stream, all to come in the second half to see if the Cherries can turn things around. 2-0 they trail at the moment, as the whistle is about to be blown any second, you'd think. For half-time, given away. They might get a chance here and start to take advantage. Oh, and it's tipped behind. Well, again, good pressure, good pressing as he tried to find the top corner. And it's a good save in the end from James Beadle, who tips it behind for a corner kick.
Well,
best chance.
Campaign, anything you can do, I can do better. 2 fantastic saves in the space of a few minutes there. James Beadle clawed that one out of the top corner. Johnny Stuttle did everything right. Great turn, created the space for himself, picked his spot, but the keeper was more than equal to it. I've got a corner anyway.
Greenwood to take. Goes short to Sadie. Back to Greenwood. Greenwood in the end, unfortunately, that's too far for everybody, including Kinsey Wellington. It's out for a goal kick.
Yeah, good pressure heart of the pitch from us. Forced Brighton into a rare mistake as it's been in this half. And Johnny, like Neil said, great composure. A little bit of an angle, went high and near towards that top corner, and a great save from Beadle. But from Johnny's point of view, that's what he can pop up in them situations. So hopefully, he can get more chances in the second half.
So half time here then. And AFC Bournemouth have got work to do here at Vitality Stadium. 2-0 they trail against Brighton Hove Albion. That's how things stand at the moment. Let's have a look and see what's those goals. The first one, they were in quick succession. This was the goal and the chance. We'll have a look for Bournemouth first of all. It was Da Costa Gonzalez on this right hand side created the first real Bournemouth chance. He had a shot with his left foot, and in the end it was saved. We'll try and bring you that replay in a second for the Brighton goal, and here's a chance for Brighton Hove Albion, which we'll have a look at now. Perpion with a pass, and it was in towards Nielsen, who played it back. Plain got a touch, and then there was the finish just outside the 6-yard box, and it was just tapped in the end from Jack Hinshelwood, who's had 3 headers, 2 free headers. One went wide, one went over, but that time he made no mistake, he tapped it into the back of the net. So that was the chance, and the goal, which was well taken. And there was a lot of pressure coming from Brighton Hove Albion, although that goal came during a fairly quiet period for them. But then they built on that nearly 3 minutes later. In towards the box it went. A left-footed finish there from Jack Spong, who's looked lively for them. Taken a few of their corners, have been dangerous with some of the crosses into the penalty area. And with his left foot, he left Cam playing with absolutely no chance in the Bournemouth goal. We'll have a look in a second at the last Bournemouth chance as well before half-time. And it was a real opportunity, and it was a good strike as well, to be fair, from Johnny Stuttle. But James Beadle made a great save, and it was just a few minutes after Cam Plain had made a fantastic save when he tipped it onto the bar just a few minutes before that. So it's all uphill at the moment for Bournemouth going into the second half. They've got lots of work to do, and it was because of those 2 goals in the space of 3 minutes against a very impressive looking Brighton Hove Albion side so far. 1 goal for them from Spong and 1 goal for them from Hinshelwood. That's how things stand at the moment at half time. Live second half coverage to come on this live stream in just over 10 minutes time. Half time here though, it's Bournemouth 0, Brighton 2. And welcome back to Vitality Stadium. Second half coverage to come here in the Premier League Cup. And it is Bournemouth who trail by 2-0. 2 goals in the space of just under 3 minutes. And it was just after the half-hour mark when the 2 goals were scored. And it is Brighton who are going to get the second half underway here. It's a long way back for Bournemouth at the moment, who've had their chances. They've had 2 or 3, especially one right at the end after Brighton gave the ball away in the box. And the shot in the end was tipped behind and out of play for a corner kick. It was a good save in the end from James Beadle. And here we go then. Brighton Hove Albion in possession as they go long up towards the edge of the penalty area. And now Brighton have it down that right-hand side. And it's given away and one back there from Noah Bhutan. So it's the live stream we're bringing to you this afternoon, sponsored by ESET, free on AFCB TV, YouTube, Facebook and Twitter. I'm Ian Wilding, and with me is Alan Connell and Neil Perrott here at Vitality Stadium. And it's our second live stream we've brought you in the Premier League Cup, having also brought you the same against Derby back in September. Here's Greenwood. Greenwood to Brown. Brown to Papula. Back to Da Costa Gonzalez. Heavy touch from Brown. Went to challenge though.
Looks like a change of shape, I think. It looks like we've gone to a back three with Noah high and wide as a wing back and Josh Papula on his right hand side, and Michael looks like he's gone inside next to Dom Sardi. So interesting match up. Let's see how this pans out.
There is Da Costa Gonzalez, who had a good first half. Papula back to him now. See if the Cherries can get a goal early on in the second half, given away from Kinsey Wellings, and now Brighton switching field towards Perpignan.
We were chatting at half time about how strong we thought Brighton looked in the first half, and spoken to one of their analysts, and it seems that Jack Hinchelwood is the only under-18 in their team, and the rest are under-21s and under-23s, and I think we probably saw that out in the first half, but that's going to be a great experience for our younger lads.
Absolutely. Like we've said all game, you can see Brighton's quality, and we have got a young team out with obviously the 21s. A lot of our 21s being out on loan, or we've got injuries to be fair in the squad. So yeah, we'll just have to deal with the second half as it comes. But I think, like I say, we showed enough in the first half that we can hurt Brighton. But like you said, we're up against a very talented opponent, and they've shown that so far. But like you say, great experience, and this is what we want our players to experience, playing against top players, and that's when you obviously ultimately see who's got a chance to go on and have a career.
So Brighton Hove Albion in possession then. The Cherries unchanged in the second half. Here's a fire. Played out to the right. Try to find Miller. And Francis clears. And Brighton at the moment are going to be content to just hold on and keep possession as the substitute brought on at half-time, Ben Jackson, for the away side. Their first substitution, it came at half-time. Goes in field now towards Hinchelwood. Just enjoying a good spell of possession at the moment. They don't need to do anything silly themselves now. In this second half, here's Luke Barrington, who finds Ben Jackson again. Chipped up to the edge of the penalty area. And then Greenwood volleys clear for the Cherries. It's a big ask for Bournemouth.
We spoke earlier about the fantastic facilities at Brighton now. Just can you give us...
given away here though. It could be costly. Can Bournemouth take advantage? Not quite there. Da Costa Gonzalez had a lot of space to pull the trigger. Don't think he could quite believe his luck winning it from there on the edge of the penalty area after a mistake, but it will give Bournemouth some hope wide of the post.
Was that the right option now, Johnny? Johnny's giving him the eyes there.
Yeah, Johnny always wants the ball put on a plate for him in front of goals, so I understand that. But I've also seen Michael score from there dozens of times, so he's gone to reverse it in the near corner, and he's obviously just over-egged it, and unfortunately it's gone wide. But a cheap giveaway from Brighton has been unlike them so far.
I was going to ask you earlier how we we've spoken about Brighton's training ground. Can you give us an update on how ours is looking at the moment?
Yeah, we went there. We went to staff a couple of weeks ago. The younger 9s to 16s that are using our new 3G at the moment in the evenings. There's still a lot of work going on the outside in the day at the moment with around the 3G and new offices going in and stuff. So it's taking shape. Obviously, it's a work in progress, but it's exciting to see something, with your own eyes, and hopefully it's a sign of the future and what's to come. And hopefully the academy and ultimately our first team have got room for a real bright future.
How exciting is it for someone like you who probably trained at Chapelgate or Kings Park or wherever when you first started playing here?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is, I've been fortunate to see a lot of training grounds over the years in the job that I do.
Given away from Oko though, and Perpion might try and cross it in towards Miller. Cleared off Greenwood and then back out to the left-hand side. And it's given away from Sadie. Brighton going to try again. Here's a fire. Perpion back towards a fire again. Hinshelwood is there as an option in the box. And Sungi to Jackson, the substitute. And in the end, they're forced back. They're going to try and come forward though. Miller. Barrington. Samuels to his left. Back to Spong. Hinshelwood. Spong, the goal scorer of their second goal, goes out wide to the right. Off Greenwood. And every time they're forced back to the halfway line, and then it looks like they're going to try and get the ball in the final third, but they don't have time, and Bournemouth defend well. Well, no free kick given. Here's Hinshelwood. More boos from the home supporters.
Michael looks like he's taken a bit of a whack there, Al.
Yeah, he does take a lot of whacks because he's a Jack Grealish type, the way he sort of shows players the ball, and he takes a lot of hits because he's that flamboyant player. And,
this is a chance though with the flag. Sorry, the flag's up on the far side.
Yeah, hopefully he's all right. I think I've seen him grimace a few times over the years, so hopefully he's all right.
Now that flag went up before the player had touched the ball, so we go back to the one in the first half when it went up about 20 yards down the line. It's I'm going to have to read up on that rule at the end of the game so I know what's going on.
Yeah, that rule book's getting bigger, isn't it, I think?
Well, problem is, Ian, by the time I've read it, they'll have probably changed it.
Well, yeah, you'll be there by pre-season, next season. Yeah. Yeah, there's certainly a lot more come into play, don't they, every summer, it seems.
I'll never forget our first away game in the Premier League was Liverpool away. I'm trying to think if Tommy Elphick either did something, scored a goal or something, and they changed the rules after that game, which was just remarkable, and it was almost typical of our sort of luck in those early days. Al, you're nodding. Can you remember what happened?
No, but I remember it was at the Cop.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying I
Yeah.
remember it was something. I can't remember the exact detail of it. I'm sure Tommy does if we robbed of a goal in front of the Cop. I would. I'd be raging.
Yeah, you'd remember that forever, wouldn't you?
Of course.
But really, it's been a quiet start to the second half, hasn't it, really? About that chance Brighton gave the ball away. Cherries have had the best opportunity of the second half, which DaCosta Gonzalez couldn't hit the target, went wide of the post. But it's kind of how we thought it would be, I suppose, to start the second half. Brighton just keeping possession and not really in a rush with it, because they don't really have to do anything silly with it, do they? As Bournemouth go forward now up towards Bhutan, but it's not going to find him, and Brighton play it back. Samuels. Cherries reached the 5th round of the FA Youth Cup last season as well. And still in a decent position, whatever happens here after this afternoon, to progress through. They'll be halfway through the group stages after today. One back from Bhutan. And Bhutan back towards Oko. Oko to Stuttle. Holds the ball up well there. But that's going to give them that chance earlier. they've got to feel like there's going to be more opportunities like that in them, Cherries, but they'll have to take them. Now it's a chance to bring the ball down with Brown. Da Costa Gonzalez made the run.
Yeah, trademark Lewis Brown run from midfield. Gives so much energy and legs in there. Yeah, I think as long as it's 2-0, we're well in the game. We've seen many times before how 2-0 can be a delicate scoreline. Obviously, we need to get the next goal, and I'm pretty sure Daniel Adewale and Bailey Johnson will be in Bruce's thoughts, and it wouldn't surprise me if we see them shortly. And they've both got goals in them and a physical impact they can definitely have.
Well, we know Lewis Brown has got a goal in him at this ground as well from last season in the Youth Cup.
Yeah, great. I think he won our goal of the month, didn't he, against Leicester? So yeah, I think he's got 7 this season as our captain under 18s. So he's a goal scorer midfielder, which is pleasing. He got 7 last season, so he's already matched that, and we're obviously only in late November. So hopefully he can sort of hit that sort of 15 sort of figure this season. And he's a great leader, an exemplary young man. The way he works every day, and as good a leader as I've had in the under 18s with regards encouragement and demanding and setting a standard every day, both vocally and with his actions as well.
Yes, I'd echo that, having dealt with him a couple of times from a media point of view. Very courteous young man to deal with, and I know that after your games at Canford on a Saturday morning, he likes to get over to Victoria Park to watch his dad's Bournemouth Poppies team. He's the manager there, and they're doing quite well.
Yeah, I think he's been around that a number of years. I've known Lewis since he was 10, same as Torrey Williams on the bench. He's come all the way through with us, and I think he's grown up in around that non-league environment at Poppies and stuff, so maybe that's where the voice comes from, and he's at home in any sort of social environment, really, because he's got a bit about him.
Could play this from Bournemouth, though. Can they get it through to Stuttle? It was Brown with the pass. Brighton defending well, but they give it away. Here is Brown towards Papula. Can he beat Samuels there and get the cross in? He's got options behind him in Kinsey Wellings. Good one-touch football. Oh, and it nearly paid off in the end. Stuttle was in there. So too was Boutin on the edge of the 6-yard box. Brown's cross. And Brighton are going to regroup. But now it's given away again. They've given away a few times already in the second half. Da Costa Gonzalez has tripped. Which is a shame, really, isn't it? Because he thought he would have beaten his man there and really had a real opportunity to get the ball on the edge of the box there. But a free kick for the Cherries.
Yeah, another Jack Grealish type moment where he shows the ball to the defender and just moves it at the last second. And again, another foul, like I said earlier. And hopefully we can get Michael on the ball more. Before that, it was his clever pass around the corner that found Lewis Brown. Probably our best bit of combination play in the game, I would say, around Brighton's box. Lewis put a great cross in that just got cut out. This
changing formation is paying dividends at the moment.
Yeah, I think Michael, he can do inside in one of them two sort of pockets, and he's finding himself on the inside right area at the moment. He's done a lot of work in recent years on the wing as well. So I said before, we're trying with our players make them as intelligent and adaptable as possible. And Michael's showing that in this game, playing wide first half and he's playing inside second half and having an effect.
Greenwood chipped it in, dangerous area. Boutin back to Brown. 4 in the box, wait for it. Kinsey Wellings. Shame in the end, forced out wide to the left. Back to the goalkeeper. But it feels like their performance so far will give the Cherries some hope. That's 3 times Brighton have given the ball away on the edge of the box, and they did it just before half-time as well. So there are some weaknesses there that they can exploit.
This certainly, the last 5 or 10 minutes will give us some encouragement. Yeah, we've seen a lot more of the ball, looked a lot more threatening. I know it's a cliche, Al, but the next goal is going to be a crucial goal.
Yeah, we found that, didn't we, in the previous game against Derby a couple of months ago. And yeah, we've locked on a little bit better man for man as the times where Brighton's sort of quality and power just mean they can get away from us. But again, another good interception from Chris Francis and Dom Sardi there, which means we can, like I say, hopefully get further up the pitch. And it looks like, I'm pretty sure it is Bailey Johnson and Daniel Adewale just getting some instructions over the far side, so hopefully we can see them two shortly.
Yeah, first possibly a double substitution now. Oh, that's a shame, isn't it? Free kick given to Brighton. Thought they were all way there down that left-hand side with Noah Boutin. Free kick instead. Well, I thought they were going to be away with space down that left-hand side there.
Some paperwork just gone over to the fourth official there from the Bournemouth bench, so I think you're right, Al. Subs on their way.
To try and freshen things up here with half an hour remaining here of normal time. Brown for AFC Bournemouth. Up again from Greenwood. Other players had trials in the past at Chelsea and Arsenal. Started all 6 of the Premier League Cup matches last season for the Cherries, Ben Greenwood. But Brighton Hove Albion have got a free kick, which is played back from Jackson. And there is going to be a period of pressure still, you'd think, from Bournemouth. They've got to try and take advantage of, but the last 10 minutes has been more encouraging. But Brighton always look dangerous up there with the likes of Miller, Perpion and Nilsson. And they've got a free kick.
I think you probably can let the game go there and then maybe do the booking when there's a break in play. The Brighton lad had the ball at his feet, the whole of the pitch in front of him, and we've stopped the game there. I'm not sure about that one.
By the way, strange, it just slows the game down. Sorry, Neil.
By the way, the Liverpool incident's come back to me, Al. It was Christian Benteke goal, and someone was in an offside position, and Tommy was involved in it, and they changed the rules after that. It was at the Cop end, you're right.
Well, Everett's going to come on. Matt Everett's coming on for Brighton, and off is going to go Jack Spong, the goal scorer of their second goal, which came a few minutes after their opening goal. 2-0, both goals coming in the first half so far. And it's Brighton Hove Albion's second substitution of the game. Everett coming on just after Ben Jackson at half-time.
Nobody's making their way over to the touchline now, so nobody thinks they're coming off.
They're all going as far away as possible. They're hoping it's not them.
Sometimes you just know, Neil. I've been there many a time. You look and you just have a horrible feeling, especially when it's someone who's the same position as you.
Yeah. I know there's that old trick, isn't there, sometimes where the manager tells you you're going to be substituted and sends you as far away as possible, certainly in injury time.
Yeah.
And then your number comes up and then you... But I think that's why they changed that rule, so you've got to go off the closest part of the pitch now, though, haven't you?
You do, yeah. It was a sensible rule, change of rule in the end. So the substitution, a couple of substitutions being made then for the Cherries. Aduajay coming on and Johnson, and off has come Noah Bhutan and Stuttle as well. So they've both made their way off for the Cherries, a double substitution. And they were both quite far away from the dugout. Hoping it wasn't going to be them, but it was them, and off they go. But both put in decent shifts though.
Yeah, it looks a straight swap. Daniel for Johnny Stuttle up top. Number 9 for number 9, and then it looks like Bailey Johnson, who has done wing back for us this season in the under-18s, looks like he's going to slot into that left wing back position vacated by Noah.
You mentioned about Bailey. He's another one with an eye for goal.
Perpion here though, Miller with a shot, and we're going to try again with a cross. It's time to go win another corner. Sorry, Neil.
Bailey certainly got an eye for goal. I know I've seen a few youth team goals he scored this season.
Yeah, he scores some good goals this season. Not just good goals, he's starting to score a lot more as well. I think he got 11 last season. I think he's on about, I want to say 9 or 10 already. Scored a spectacular volley in a friendly against West Ham a month ago. Scored the winning goal against Forest Green in the league 2 weeks ago. A great lad, so professional and beyond his years. Works hard every day and versatile, as I said. And I hope he has a good impact on the game here. One we got from Arsenal, similar story to Jaden Anthony.
Corner swung in, and the header already with the first touch there from Matt Everett over the crossbar.
Yeah, Bailey got the same stage as Jaden, so they didn't get a scholarship at under 16s, and well, Jaden obviously was a number of years ago now, and we took him on trial, and obviously, you know, what he's done speaks for itself. And Bailey took a similar route 2 years ago, had him on trial, played a lot of games as an under 16 for us and for our under 16s, and we offered him quite early. And obviously he's been full-time with us since last July.
Well, how do you feel, Al, when someone like Jaden Anthony's playing in the Premier League, having, you managed him as an under-18?
Yeah, it's a great feeling for everybody. No, it really is. It's different. It's a different reward. Obviously, I was an ex-professional player, and you know, the adrenaline you get and the high moments, winning the game, scoring a goal, and now obviously them days are long gone. You get this sort of satisfaction from player improvement, and seeing those individuals progress and have careers. And we've got, whether that's, you know, ideally when it's Pickleshire in the Premier League or even lower down, seeing Nathan Rye-Welsh and Christian Sadie in League 1 and League 2 at the moment out on loan from us is really satisfying. But of course Jayden Anthony has been a real success, and no one would have thought that he'd have gone on to be an important player for us in the Premier League all those years ago. But yeah, it's really satisfying for everybody who's worked in our academy and given Jayden the platform to showcase what he's about.
Good one from Hinshelwood. Here's Brighton looking to put the cross in from Samuels. Hinshelwood again with the pass. Kinsey Wellings has it back though, and he plays it forward to Sadie. So nearly halfway through the second half now, and here's Francis. Francis tries to put Da Costa Gonzalez away. Header from Ben Jackson. Barrington. In that period of the game, we get Brighton, aren't they? Really, where they're looking comfortable on the ball, keeping possession, not giving the ball away. They have it. Perpignan. Time they do give the ball away, but only as far as Greenwood to a Brighton player, and it's out for a throw for the Cherries. In this Premier League Cup match, AFC Bournemouth Stream, sponsored by ESET. Match number 3 of 6 of group matches for the Cherries. 1-2 going into this one. At the moment they're heading for 2 wins, 1 defeat, if things stay as they are.
The game just drops into a little bit of a lull, hasn't it? Which probably will obviously suit Brighton more than us with a scoreline as it is. So yeah, let's see how the next few minutes go.
And the next Cherries Premier League Cup match is Derby away on the 12th of December, then QPR at home a week later. So by then, by Christmas, the Cherries will have a fair idea then of where they're going to be if they can progress through to the knockout stages. But as we were saying in the first half, they are in a healthy position whatever happens here today.
Yeah, I mean, you know, let's see how today goes. If we don't get any points today, 6 points from 3 games is a great return. 12 points from 6 games, and we're in the next round, no question. So
yeah, and the top 2 qualify of 4. So at the moment, you'd imagine Brighton will be one of those sides progressing, especially if they keep playing like they have been playing here today, and the form they've been in the league as well is kind of carried on into their cup performance so far today.
So it's always so hard to predict in academy development football, like, when you look at form, because you just don't know what sort of team you're going to have out. Like if it wasn't the Premier League break at the moment, we might have 2 or 3 first team players plans that need minutes. As it is, obviously we've got a couple of under 21 injuries, and here we are with 5 under 18 starting. So you just never know from game to game what that team could like. Same for Brighton. So I think they're a little bit older than us today, and I think in the previous game in August it might have been the other way around. So it is hard to use that form as a guide. It's not quite obviously as clean as a first team form guide, I would suggest.
There's someone on the Brighton bench who, one of the backroom staff there, he could certainly do a turnout here on the pitch. I think Alan Alana's over there with them, which is an interesting man to have on the bench. Not that he's on the bench, but he's sitting on the bench.
Yeah, he certainly is. Corner kick though, Greenwood to take, 6 in the box, headed away, 7 in the end for the Cherries anyway, but now it's back out towards Barrington. Well, that was going to go out for a corner. That was strange, wasn't it? Just came off his foot and out for a corner kick. So a second corner for the Cherries then in quick succession. Greenwood to take the corner again. Johnson's up there, and Aduajay, the 2 substitutes in there. And Greenwood, it's too far that time.
There's another Premier League Cup game to be played here at Vitality Stadium, the 19th of December, against Queen's Park Rangers. So let's wait and see. It could be a big one if there's something on it.
It certainly could. Now then, here come the Cherries down to the left towards Costa Gonzalez. Nearly found a Duaget, but he doesn't. And it comes off Everett, but it's a third corner now for Bournemouth in the space of 2 minutes.
Yeah, we spoke earlier, didn't we, a few minutes ago about that little bit of a lull, and we've just picked it up and managed to pin Brighton back and force a couple of corners. So hopefully we can nick a goal to get us right back in this game.
So forward then, into the box comes Brown. So a goal scoring midfielder, Kinsey Welling's in there as well. Goal now would make things very interesting. Greenwood, we know he can hit them from here. Oh, and he can hit them from there as well, and it's tipped behind and out for a corner kick. Well, he scored from a similar distance against Derby, didn't he? Where he just rifled it in with his left foot. This time that went higher. We'll have another look at that again as it was played square. And at one point you thought maybe it's gone a little bit too far back, but he took on his man and absolutely like a bullet tried to find the top corner. Another corner for the Cherries, their fourth corner now in quick succession. Just punched away from Beadle. Comes back out to Costa Gonzalez. Finds Sadie behind him. Headed away before Johnson could get there. But what a strike. There's Brighton on the breakaway now. Down to Samuels. Two wait for it as an option. And Perpignan straight at Camplain in the Bournemouth goal. That was some effort though, wasn't it, from Greenwood, as we've seen him do many times before.
I think those of us who saw the Derby goal knew what was coming, and those who didn't were probably expecting a cross, but yeah, he certainly got some. It's always a wand of a left foot, isn't it? You never have a wand of a right foot, do you? I don't know why.
Yeah,
I don't know.
More rare like a wand. I don't know what the analogy is, Neil. But
it's like a cultured left foot.
Yeah,
as well,
cultured left peg. You don't get a right peg really. But yeah, no, Ben's got a really sweet left foot. Lovely server of the ball, clean ball striker. Obviously made his debut for the first team, starting against Norwich in the Carabao Cup at the start of the season, which obviously we went through in.
Short corner. Hinshelwood's going to hit it. Oh, and I may have got a faint touch off Miller, but either way it goes back towards Plain. He's going to try and get it away quickly, up towards Balin Johnson. But Brighton have it instead with Casper Nilsson. This is a good run as well from a fire. And Greenwood has it back for the Cherries and chipped out of play. He does know where the back of the net is, Ben Greenwood, even at non-league level at Fleet Spurs. He scored a few goals for them, 3 and 7, but only 18 minutes of normal time remains.
He's got a hat-trick this season to his name as well in the Hampshire Senior Cup at Follens.
Yeah.
A hat-trick from a left-back.
Yeah, how often does that happen?
He's our penalty taker as well, and I think there's 1 or 2 that night, wasn't there?
Yeah.
So yeah.
So a little lull in proceedings, Ian. Tell us about your games coming up. Any interesting games for you, Eastleigh's and Portsmouth?
For myself, yes, I've got a fair few coming up. I was meant to be going to Eastleigh Boreham Wood next weekend, but that's been moved to a 12:30 kickoff, so I'm not required, unfortunately. But they come in thick and fast. You would think, don't you, when Bournemouth and Southampton don't play in the Premier League and there's no Championship football, you think it just stops the football, but it just carries on, doesn't it? There's always football going on to some level, which is great to see.
Yeah,
I was listening to the radio on the way over here, and obviously talking about the World Cup, and then someone mentioned the second round of the FA Cup, and I'll be honest, I kind of forgot about that because you're sort of in World Cup mode at the moment. So yeah, obviously there's still a lot of football to be enjoyed in the lower leagues and in the domestic cups.
Let's have your assessment now of last night's England performance.
Flat, I would say. It started quite well. Obviously Harry Kane had that chance from Bukayo Saka's cutback, and that was kind of as good as it got, really. I thought USA, I was really impressed by them. I thought they had high energy, pressed us all over the pitch, forced us into mistakes, looked sharper than us, and obviously had probably the better chances. I thought Harry Maguire, who's obviously taken some criticism, I thought he showed what he's about as a character, and I thought he was a real steady performer for us. But yeah, flat display, and I know people were saying that we had that against Scotland in the last Euros, in the second game. But yeah, we're going to have to step it up. But I know I'm jumping on a bandwagon, but I'd love to see Phil Foden on the pitch, and it's a hard one to understand how he isn't.
It's bizarre, isn't it? It's a difficult one to work out, that one. But maybe we'll play in the week against Wales, as we've just seen a couple of minutes ago again, that strike from Greenwood, which was tipped behind, which has been the Cherries' best effort of the second half, that's for sure. They've had a shot with Trent wide of the post as well. 15 minutes of normal time remains. Given away. But it's also good to see, players who have come through, or players who have been involved with Bournemouth in the past as well, actually been in the England squad there. Got Ramsdale, Callum Wilson, etc. Throw on the right hand side.
Yeah, it definitely gives an added interest, Neil, doesn't it? We're having them types that obviously are fondly remembered at the club for what they achieved here.
Definitely doesn't. Hang on a minute. Kiefer Moore, Chris Mepham. This club, before they played this week, this club had only ever had one international player playing at the World Cup who was still on the books here, and that was Colin Clark in 1986. Scored for Northern Ireland against Spain in that World Cup in Mexico. So there's only been 3 Bournemouth players who've played at a World Cup finals, those are 2 of them. So that shows what a great achievement that's been.
And that was a great story, wasn't it, for Kiefer Moore? Come back to that in a second. Now it's a chance for the Cherries here from Aduaje. Challenge comes in. Johnson isn't going to keep it in place. A throw for Brighton instead. But a great story for Kiefer Moore, making his first World Cup start, despite it not being the result he wanted. Because a few years ago, he was a lifeguard and playing part-time at Truro City. It's been quite the rise for him.
Well, him and Meps as well. I mean, we did a podcast with Chris Mepham saying that he was sitting at home one day. He got the call to play for North Greenford Reserves because one of the lads couldn't play because he had to work. And it turns out there's a Brentford scout there, signed him on the strength of that one performance for North Greenford Reserves.
Yeah.
Had that guy not worked that day, Chris wouldn't have got the phone call, probably wouldn't have played, and probably wouldn't have gone to Brentford, and now he's playing in the World Cup as well. It's 2 remarkable stories.
It is. Sometimes there's a question as well of right place, right time. Is it things happening for a reason? And then you also wonder how many players just get through the net, slip through the net as well, who just never were spotted at the right times, really.
I think opportunity is always a big thing, like for the young players, and you just want that opportunity. So yeah, it sounds like Chris Mepham got his that day of a little bit of luck, and I think he's such a nice lad. Everyone has been, I think, fans and staff alike delighted with his performances for us this season, and to see him start the World Cup is great for him as an individual, and obviously great for our club.
Just if anybody wants to listen to those podcasts, Chris Mepham, Kiefer Moore, done them both in the last 2 or 3 months, and there was another special one in the middle of those 2, wasn't there, Al? That was another good podcast.
I've got a quiz question for you, Neil. Out of the last 3 Bournemouth podcasts, which one hasn't played in the World Cup? Oh, unfortunately, we both know the answer.
I won't open that one then to the viewers.
No, there's no World Cup chat in there. There's a lot of League 1 and League 2 talk in there. Oh, wow.
Well, here's Kinsey Wellings on the ball now towards Oko.
They never got to play for Paolo Di Canio, Al, though.
That is like winning the World Cup itself. just to survive that era, not to win the league as we fortunately did at Swindon. Just to survive it was a story in itself.
What was the longest number of days you went without a day off?
I think I'm right in saying I signed mid-July. So I started pre-season at Grimsby where I was, and then the move happened mid-July. And I'm pretty sure that my next day off was, I think it was like September the 4th. So I think it was something like 43 days, and there was doubles and triples in there, and yeah, and that was a tough period because it was the team were trying to gel and find itself. So yeah, it was a tough start, but it was well worth it in the end, and a great manager and an unbelievable tactician, a very charismatic man. And yeah, it was looking back, it was a great experience, even though at times it was real tough.
I can imagine. There's a foul there from Da Costa Gonzalez, who's in the walls there, down there for that foul on Ben Jackson. It's going to be a free kick for Brighton Hove Albion, so there's going to be a bit more of a lull in this game as the rain comes down here for this live stream in the Premier League Cup on AFCB TV, YouTube, Facebook and Twitter. But you can do a podcast on just Paolo Di Canio in itself. You could do 2 hours on that, couldn't you?
There's an ex-teammate of mine, Simon Ferry, who's been very successful with an open goal podcast, it's called, and in Scotland. And obviously, he's a great storyteller anyways, is Simon Ferry. He played for Portsmouth, actually, a few years ago as well. And I think he's done particularly well out of the Swindon era we had with Paolo Di Canio and the stories. And yeah, it's well worth a listen if you get a chance to listen to that.
Oh, tune in for that one, definitely. Maybe on the way home. But interesting, the referee's got his book out here. I don't know if he was going to produce a yellow waiting for him to get back up onto his feet, but maybe he's going to help him up onto his feet and give him the yellow card. I'm not sure. No, not to be, which is good. Free kick, though. But again, this is the quietest period of the game, isn't it? Last 15 minutes, it's just really started to peter out, really, from the Bournemouth perspective at the moment.
Yeah, we just haven't been able to build up that head of steam just to try and force Brighton under that bit of pressure. We had them 3 or 4 corners, didn't we? And Ben Greenwood shot, and yeah, we just need to try and find one last bit of energy to force the situation and force the issue here.
Up to Miller. Francis. Ferdy plays it to Kinsey Wellings.
Played.
Touch there from Gonzalez, but no, not to be. Good football though up to that point, wasn't it? And now it's just too far for Sadie, too short for Sadie. Here's Matt Everett, who had that free header a few minutes ago to substitute. Out to Miller. Hinshelwood. And now it's Songi. And they're just doing really what they've done for a while, just keeping the ball around in that middle third.
You know what it's like as well when you're losing a game. You try and find that energy that you need to get back into it, and a team like Brighton are going to drain it out of you just by keeping the ball. And yeah, it's a difficult period for us. But like I said before, great learning moments for our players. And again, still an opportunity to get back in this game, but obviously we're going to need to do something pretty fast.
So back towards Songi. Yeah, they're running out of time now, the Cherries. Maybe a couple more chances to come before the end of the game, but Brighton. As far as Johnson plays it back towards Cameron Plain. Francis. This is good football though. Good run from Johnson. He's run 60 yards up the field, goes for the cross, no one in there unfortunately. They might get another chance here. Papula. Costa Gonzalez, who had that shot which went wide after winning the ball back in the early stages of the second half. There's Johnson. Fortunately they're forced back. Are they get a chance here to get it in the final third again? Oko. And Greenwood back now. The chance is gone for the moment. Here's Francis. Francis out towards Kinsey Wellings. Now here's Papula. Switch well, that's a good play from Sadie out to Greenwood. Johnson. Baden Johnson, shots blocked and cleared from Hinshelwood. Oko. Johnson in front of him, to Costa Gonzalez to his right. To Greenwood. Brighton defending well, aren't they? They're pushing Bournemouth back 2 or 3 times. They just can't quite find that final ball, that final opening now towards this Kinsey Wellings.
Good sustained pressure there, I think, which is what, we probably want a bit more of this, and this is more like a team you'd want to see that are losing the game to try and pin the opponent back and make life difficult from. And this is a good spell of possession. Hopefully we can get something at the end of it. Here's a free kick. Yeah,
wins a foul for a free kick there. I wonder if a trialist is going to come on soon before the end of the game. I don't know what happens if he does come on and he scores. How you kind of describe that, really? Say trialist has had the shot.
He comes on and scores, and yeah, we might have to reveal his name on that. Yeah. I'm not sure what the rules are on that.
No.
If he comes on and does a James Hayter 142nd hat trick or something like that, it would be a bit awkward.
No, he's Sati. Good run. Oh, just got away from him in the end. You might just get carried away in the moment and say his name anyway. It's Greenwood. Crossed in. And Brighton again, but it's better for the Cherries at the moment, is to say that bit of pressure there and keeping possession, looking for those openings, but unfortunately for the Cherries, Brighton have got a free kick.
There's a blast from the past. James Hayter, Al. Any contact with him? Is his lad here?
Hates, no, he coaches in the academy part-time with the younger ones, doing the forwards, I believe. Everyone knows, obviously, Hates his quality as a player and a lovely person as well, that's genuine, and he's coaching the younger ones. So again, another fine example for those young players, and any finishing tips and how to have a prolonged successful career. I think he's the perfect role model for that, and so can't believe how many years it's been since see him playing with him, and obviously now I think he's probably early 40s now, which is crazy to think that.
2004 that hat trick was.
Wow, incredible, isn't it?
And his parents missed it because they had to get the ferry home back to the Isle of Wight. How about that?
Oh no, really?
Very true.
Didn't even see one of them.
No, he came off the bench, and I think they went home before he came on the pitch, thinking he wasn't going to come on, and then he comes on and makes history.
It's great when you watch that back in real time as well, isn't it? And see it, the whole thing, as it panned out.
Yeah.
Put that on the Wrexham documentary, Neil.
Yeah.
A bit of unwanted Wrexham history, that.
Yeah,
that should be on there, definitely. And Chris Temple and Willow's commentary there as well was always
iconic,
terrific listen. Here's Brighton now with Papula. Of course, comes in with Greenwood with the challenge. Corner kick on the far side. So they'll just be content to keep it over there at the moment, the away side. They still lead by those 2-0, both goals in the first half. With less than 3 minutes of normal time remaining here.
I think we might have edged this half out. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think territory and probably chances, albeit we haven't had a real clear-cut one. I think it's been a great response, like I said, against a top team.
Yeah.
Brown dismisses the header, then he gets it away. And then Papula just gives it away, and Brighton have it now with Ben Jackson. Not sure how many minutes of stoppage time we'll have, maybe about 3 or 4 you would think, but there come Brighton now. Go for the cross, and there's Miller with the touch. Marcus Eiffel, who a couple of minutes ago came onto the pitch, coming on for a fire. Goal kick.
Al, we're going to see some of your lads again here at Vitality Stadium in December, just to explain about that Liverpool FA Youth Cup game.
Yeah, like I said, hopefully on Monday we have a finalised date for that. It could be any time in December, it could be very soon. We're just waiting to hear what the FA have got to say about that. So yeah, a lot of these boys will be planning that as well. So this experience today for them will be great, just to sample a good crowd, and at Dean Court again on this pitch. So yeah, big game for us. Obviously, we'll be massive underdogs in that game, but it'll be a great experience and a great occasion. And again, like the supporters that come out today, we'd love to see as many as possible come out for that game and give the boys a really big support and a really great experience. So yeah, that'll be announced hopefully next week. And like I say, we'd much appreciate it if we can get as many Bournemouth fans as possible to watch, especially in the time where the first team aren't playing. It's an opportunity to come down and see the next generation.
Oh, and Canford Park Arena, people are welcome there every other Saturday morning, if you like, free of charge.
Yeah, that's true. We've got a home game this Tuesday against Newport in the league. 11:30 at Canford. We'll have a home game at Portsmouth towards the end of December. It's all on the website. So yeah, supporters are always welcome and much appreciated when they do turn out and support.
Greenwood's corner in the end, and it's caught from Beadle. Yeah, one to look forward to there in December. Papula did well there to win the corner kick. The cross came in, picked up too close to the goalkeeper in the end. And we're going to be going very soon into stoppage time. And the Cherries have it now again with Papula. Not long to go now. And Acosta Gonzalez, who brings it down. 10 goals in 13 in all competitions for him for the under-18s. He's had 2 or 3 opportunities, a couple of times through winning the ball back himself. Sadie. Johnson. Jackson for Brighton. 6 minutes of injury time indicated from the 4th official. I didn't see that one coming. 6 minutes.
That's the World Cup's catching on everywhere.
It is
now. 6 minutes.
Yeah, that's maybe where it's all come from. Starts there. It's come down to Bournemouth already. Headed away. Certainly didn't see 6 minutes coming. Over in Qatar, they finish about 12:15 over there, don't they, sometimes?
It's good to see, though. I'm enjoying it. It's 9 minutes, 10 minutes, 14 minutes.
Yeah. And it also feels like that should have been added on all this time, really, shouldn't it, for these matches, really, when you look at it. Because they never give more than 6 minutes, no matter what happens on the pitch, normally. But here they come. Bournemouth in field to Acosta Gonzalez. I remember when Man City won the league last season against Aston Villa, he indicated 3 minutes of added time, and there was a player on the floor for 2 minutes, and he still only played 3 minutes of added time. So hopefully this new rule change might be a good thing.
One thing that's caught my eye from watching the World Cup is how many players look up at the screen to see a replay of their miss or their shot or their goal. It's quite funny.
Yeah, see how close they were. So 6 minutes. We've played nearly 2 minutes of stoppage time here, though. So those double substitution earlier for Bournemouth. Johnson and Adouaje have been involved in the game in that final third, but haven't quite been able to find the score sheet yet so far. The Cherries are into the 3rd minute. Francis is on the floor as well, to the left of the penalty area. Here on AFC TV, YouTube, Facebook and Twitter, sponsored by ESET. We've brought this stream to you this afternoon, been delighted to do so. But now they'll just try and keep it in the corner, Brighton Hove Albion.
Obviously it looks like it being a 2-0 defeat for us, which obviously is not what we want, but I think it's been a highly entertaining game. I think our players have competed again against a Category 1 academy of a high level, so we can take a lot of credit from today's performance, both collectively and individually. I think Cam Payne obviously stand out first half with his saves. Michael's showed good moments. I think the 2 subs have had an impact. Chris Francis, I think, has competed well at the back. So yeah, lots of pluses from today, and like I said before, a valuable learning experience against high-level opposition in front of a good crowd.
Yeah, and we found out from their analysts at half-time, you know, 1 under-18 player and all other under-21s and under-23s just shows how strong the Brighton team is. And we're looking at 4 or 5 under-18s finishing the game for us, who will be playing against Newport County on Tuesday morning, 11:30.
Yep, that's the one.
Inchwood out down the right. We'll have the highlights for you after this game as well. We'll go through the best moments of the game in a couple of minutes' time. Unfortunately for Bournemouth, 2 of those goals, they both come for Brighton. And now a handball, free kick. So just over 90 seconds remains. And And Bournemouth heading for defeats for the first time this season in the Premier League Cup. As we were saying earlier, 2 more matches to come before Christmas in this competition. A number of teams have won this, including West Ham, Reading, Swansea, Southampton, Everton, Aston Villa. All been shared around with different teams winning this competition, but Brighton have got that free kick with less than 60 seconds remaining. Well, the match started really first 20 minutes. It was Brighton putting Bournemouth under some sustained pressure, and then it went a little bit quieter, and then they scored during that quiet period and built on it 3 minutes later. But they have it now as they go square from Miller, and they try and place it into the top left-hand corner, but it's a misplaced shot in the end, and it sails wide, and it stays 2-0, and it looks like it's going to finish 2-0 as well. 6 minutes is up. No whistle yet, free kick. The stream, we've had Neil Perrott, Alan Connell here this afternoon for this live coverage.
Yeah, just a shame it was no Derby comeback to commentate on.
No, it was electric, wasn't it, at this point against the Derby game? But there is the whistle, full time, both goals coming in the first half in a short space of time after the half-hour mark. The Bournemouth had their opportunities in the second half. You'd say it was an improved second half, but they just couldn't quite break the Brighton Hove Albion defence down. And in the end, it's the Cherries who suffer defeat in this competition for the first time this season. Still going pretty strong at the moment, 6 points from 3 games so far in this competition, and if they can get a win in their next game, then you'd fancy them to progress through to the knockout stages. Just going to have a look now at the goals, starting with the first one, which came after a tap-in from Hinshelwood. The pass came in from Casper Nilsson, who played it across, and there he was with the tap-in, who made it 1-0 to Brighton and Hove Albion. He'd had a couple of free headers before that, both over the crossbar. This time he took full advantage. So 1-0. And then the second goal came as there's a little bit of the word there for the referee as well, by the looks of it. But Brighton Hove Albion now are going to have a look at their second goal. And it's a well-worked move, and it was a terrific finish, a neat finish into the bottom corner. Cam Plain dived to his left-hand side, but he wasn't going to get there. And 2-0 it was. And then going into half-time, they had an awful lot of work to do, to be honest. It was a big task, but let's have a look at Bournemouth's good chance as well, where they hit the crossbar just before we go, and it was played across, or was tipped over, I should say. It was Greenwood there from distance, took on his man Miller, went for the shot, and it was a terrific save to tip it behind and out of play for a corner kick. It was Bournemouth's best effort, definitely, of the second half, and you'd say the best strike of the game for the Cherries as well. But it was tipped behind, it wasn't to be, couldn't quite find the top corner. If they had have scored, that really could have been quite interesting, but not to be. Thanks very much for watching this evening. Just one last word this afternoon with Alan Connell. And Alan, they did do better in the second half, didn't they, the Cherries, but they just couldn't quite find that goal in the end.
No, we just didn't quite have that big chance in front of the goal. Some good build-up play at times, but yeah, that last pass, that last shot wasn't quite there. And like I say, I think it was a really spirited display, and with Brighton's quality, they could have run away with the game. But credit to our players for sticking in there, and we limited Brighton's second half as well. To be fair, it wasn't as if they were dominating second half. We come back out. It still leaves in a strong position in the group. But overall, I think a battling display, and just maybe Brighton's quality just came out on top in the end.
And Neil, you agree with that as well? In a decent position as going into those next 3 matches in the Premier League Cup?
I think if anybody had said you'll get 6 points at the halfway stage, we would have bitten their hand off for that. In a very good position. Let's look at the day as a whole. Big crowd here, lots of people have come out today. They've seen a good game, an entertaining game, 2 good sides. The club have put this on, and it's been a roaring success apart from the result. You can see the players are there and the supporters are there acknowledging them, and lots of young people here, lots of junior cherries here as well today. So another resounding success for the club.
Bournemouth still second in the group in the Premier League Cup as well, 6 points, played 3. Brighton move up to the top of the group with 7 points, but there's still that 4-point gap between Bournemouth in second and Derby in third, who played 3, 2 points. QPR played 2, 1 point in fourth. So Bournemouth still in a good position to progress, but they lose here. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you to Neil Perrott and Alan Connell. And it's finished here, unfortunately, at Vitality Stadium with defeats, but a better second half performance against an extremely strong Brighton and Hove Albion academy. Full time here, Bournemouth 0, Brighton 2.